All right, welcome back, you all. I know we are slightly behind schedule, but guess what? We're not too late because the show is going to go on, and I'm very excited because we have an amazing guest tonight. So, welcome back to the Loyalty and Friends Self Love Podcast. Tonight, we're having talk with Miss Latrell Pace. She is in the building. So, sis, I know we did an introduction on Instagram. We're going to keep it very short for them because they need to go see the first part of that, okay? So if you want to see the first part of our interview, go over to Instagram, okay? She just gave a little background, but we're going to get a little bit more intentional with our conversation here on YouTube, Facebook, as well as Twitter. So if you're here on YouTube, of course, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And man, we got to keep growing this audience because we want a bigger audience for when you come and tell your story. So, sister, go ahead and give them a slight introduction, and we're gonna dive right into it. I'm ready.
Okay, so I'm Latrell Pace. I am here. I also have a podcast called The Pace Place that is found on Apple Music, Amazon Music, Anchor, and Spotify. Also, iHeartRadio. Um, I'm a certified mental health coach, and I sit on the board of directors for the Synergy House Incorporated nonprofit organization. So that's a
Yes,
little bit.
indeed. And my sister is coming out with a book, y'all, a devotional book, okay?
Yeah.
So listen, don't play with her talent, don't play with the gift that God has blessed her with. So I know, your podcast is your passion, and we're
Mm-hmm.
definitely going to talk a little bit further about the podcast, but I really want to dive into this book because, you said that's where it all kind of started with the vision that
Yes.
God has given you was to first put it into a book, and then that led to now a podcast for sure. So, of course, as you know, my book will be out. And if I keep my fingers crossed, my goal is to have it out by my birthday, okay, August the 13th. So, we got a little over a month to have it out and out here to the public. So, I'm very excited about that. And it was definitely divine by God. And this is only the beginning. So, yes, as we step into our power, man, we have to continue to tell our stories, whether it's through a
Yes.
book, through podcasting, however we get the information out there is important. So let's talk about this book a little bit.
Okay, so the devotional book is I'm not really sure about the name yet. Because I kind of wanted to correlate with everything that I am speaking on. But it's a book. It's going to be a 365-day devotional book where you can read each devotional day by day as you wake up, go to sleep, or however you read your devotions, and they all are around just the love of God and how God really loves us and how Jesus really paid the ultimate sacrifice for us at the cross, and just how we can use life application to really strive toward being more Christ-like each and every day that we are granted an opportunity to be alive. That means that the Lord still has work for us to do. So the devotional book is really going to break it down into more simplistic ways on how to really follow Christ and how to do it in a realistic manner, because just a lot of times people make it sound so hard, and it's just like it's really not. It's very simple. And so that's what I kind of break down in my devotionals each and every day, that the reader will be reading each one. So
Yes, indeed. So I want to talk a little bit. I want to go prior to all of this, okay? So do
mhm.
you think some of the things you maybe even went through in your childhood could have led up to what you're doing today? And how do you think that shaped you and helped you or even hindered you throughout your journey so far?
Oh, of course. So in my childhood, I did not grow up going to church. I come from a broken household, and so it definitely shaped me, because I always would just tell myself, like, I never want to go through this when I'm an adult, or I never want my kids to feel this way when I have kids. And so that's kind of what motivated me to just want more, to do better, to be a better person. And so when I really, there was always this feeling inside of me that just wanted more all the time. And I really couldn't put my finger on it until I came into the knowledge of Christ. And he really started to just show me through his Holy Spirit of what that more really feels like and what it looks like, through my process and my journey. So, of course, my childhood definitely played a huge role just because of the way that I grew up, just the family dynamic and things like that. It was very broken. And so what I strive to do with my kids and my husband is to just break some of those generational curses that is in my family. And so just holding that mantle, carrying that alone has been a process. But I feel like my family is coming around though, because they see like that I'm not changing. So
Right.
I definitely feel like they are coming around to the idea of just Christ and really get into walk more into who God has called, each and every last single one of us to be. So
Absolutely. And so I just love your transparency. We've had some personal conversations and we won't speak on those here. But, we had a lot of similarities, which I thought was like, wow. And I think that's what connected us on a deeper level. And, I'm a true believer in, sometimes we got to be willing to tell the things that we go through because you never know, for one, who can relate. And sometimes those stories aren't just for us, and we didn't walk that path for no reason. So
yeah,
that's part of our testimony, the things we kind of went through, but we also persevered through it, and it built our character and made us who we are just to this day. Because, as you know, I went through a lot of trauma growing up, and God has purposed me to also be able to break these generational curses. Like when you know better, you do better, right? So that's a true saying. We can't stay stuck in our bad ways, especially when we know that there's better. And if we follow his lead, then he's gonna be able to guide us to more things and bless us in even a bigger way.
yeah.
So you said, as far as your childhood, I do understand you came out of a broken household. Did you grow up in a two-parent household, or what did that look like?
No, so it was just my mom. She was a single parent. She pretty much drove my dad away because she's like my mom. She's on a whole nother level. Okay, but my dad kind of just walked away because he didn't want to really deal with the drama from my mom. And
Mm,
so if she was a single mom my entire life, my dad would drop in and out, whenever he felt like it, pretty much. But for the most part, it was just my mom, and I have three younger siblings. So growing up, I felt like I had to be the parent because my mom, she was on drugs and she would be out all night, sometimes for days, leaving us home by ourselves. So I had to
mm.
learn how to cook at a young age. I had to learn how to take care of my younger brothers, how to get us back and forth to school, and like all of the things. So that's pretty much how it was a lot. It in for
Right,
any
and
young
that
child.
sounds like a lot, and it's sad that especially as mothers, because we can understand and relate on an even deeper level. I know that saying, and it's sad. I don't like to say it, but sometimes it can be definitely true in our society. Mama's babies, daddy's maybes, and I'm not
Yeah,
saying you don't have some step up guys who are really amazing fathers and who really are stepping up in their children's lives, but a lot of times you will see it's easy for a male to kind of walk away from that and not have to carry that responsibility because the woman does carry the child. But
yeah,
I have been seeing a lot of single fathers nowadays, which is kind of like a very twist in the plot. I
yeah,
guess the mothers are like, look, they can do it, we can do it too. But I mean, I just feel like it's important that children have a two-parent household, or not necessarily, even if the two parents can't be in the same household, but they're having both parents involved in their every aspect of their lives, because it
yeah.
does shape you when you're younger. I recall I grew up with a single mother as well, and some of the things like being the oldest, I can totally relate because I'm the oldest of my siblings. So having to carry on that extra load can be overwhelming at times. And even in my adult life, sometimes I still feel obligated and responsible to take care
Oh,
of my siblings.
oh, that was definitely something that I struggled with just letting go because I was so responsible at a young age, starting from like 9 years and older. I had to kind of be the parent, and so when I became an adult and I understood like this is not right. Like, I wasn't supposed to be the mom, at 9 years old to my brothers, and just having to kind of step back and let my mom be the parent and me be the child, and understanding that it's okay because this is her role. Like, I have picked up a role that I was never supposed to be in the first place. And so I had to really learn how to just let that kind of go, in a sense, and just not, feeling the guilt and the shame, and like, they need me type of, feelings and things like that. So I definitely get it, girl, because I'm the oldest and mom got 6 kids. Okay.
Right. So I can relate. Even with losing my brother, like, I felt like not only did I lose a brother, I lost a child pretty much. You understand? Because my siblings did truly rely on me a lot. And going through that because of my own grief, I kind of went in an isolation phase, but it kind of allowed me to not only just rely on God, but to rely on myself even more. So I kind of appreciate that journey. It showed me a lot about me. I learned more about myself. I learned more about him, and was able to redefine my relationship with God as well. So, you just never know how that might come about. I felt like that was more of a pruning season for me to really get me in alignment with those who's going to be able to bless me and help me get to that next level, because everybody can't go with us, even
Yeah.
though sometimes we would like them to be able to go, but that's not God's vision. So we have to be intentional. So sometimes when he removed people from our lives, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. You understand?
Yeah.
And you don't harvest any feelings from it, because you never know if that person would have stayed, it could have hindered your growth and where God is leading you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So
Definitely.
yeah, so this book, okay, so you got the book, now you got the podcast. What's
Yeah.
next to come? I mean, I know it doesn't stop there.
No, it really doesn't. So what's next is I'm working on creating this blog, and on the blog is going to be kind of like a Q&A. If people have questions on how can they really further themselves in their spirituality, if they need prayer, it's going to be kind of like a community outreach blog, where I'm just reaching out to whoever just need help in whatever ways that I can help and assist, like basic necessities, things like that. And so I'm working on it. I'm trying to go through GoDaddy to get the domain, and because I want everything to kind of have the same name, the Pace Place. And somebody got it, and so I have to wait to see if they are going to let me have it, or if they're going to be like official, because when I go on the website, it's like it's not an official website, but somebody is paying for the domain. So I'm just going to try to see how could I get around them to kind of steal it from them. But the blog is definitely what's coming next. And after that, I am planning like some in-person conferences. That's going to be later on next year, probably in the summer, where it's going to be about 50 to 100 people. And it's just going to be conferences on just life coaching, mental health coaching, life application skills, lifestyle changes, and things that people can do to really better themselves. Any type of things that is going on, like in the family dynamic, being married young, for the women, conferences on how to really be a wife, because with me becoming a wife at 19, I didn't know nothing about nothing. Okay.
Ooh. Tell
I,
me, I was a young
I-
wife and I'm a young divorcee as well, because
yeah.
probably I wasn't willing to put in the work. I didn't understand the
Yeah.
concept then that as I do now. So,
Yeah.
man, ooh, you spoke there. You spoke there,
Yeah.
my sister.
So that's basically what it's going to be, like surrounded with, just a couple of ideas that I have just bouncing off my head, and just how to be able to just help people in any way that I can, because I feel like I have so much experience in a lot of different areas, and I just want to pour out to people, because people are broken, and people, they want to hear how can they, better themselves, and what can they do to be better and have a better life. So
Absolutely, Queen. Boy, woo, don't play with my sister. She is powerful. And man, I just appreciate just the love and the support, and just for you even coming on here. I asked, and she was like, "Man, yes, I would come on there." And now, my sister, we have manifested, we have allowed it to come full circle, you know. So I feel like God don't make mistakes whatsoever, and just even hear you share that little glimpse of your childhood, some of the trauma you went through.
Yeah.
I got one more question, maybe related more to the childhood, because I think sometimes when people understand our childhood, they understand our journey and where we're at now and why we even do what we do. So,
Mm-hmm.
can you name maybe one of the traumatic things that you went through as a child, how you persevered through it, and how you then allow that to change who you are as of today?
Ooh, okay. So one thing that will always just trigger me is the beatings. So my mom would beat us for every little thing, and it didn't matter who did it or who didn't do it. Even
Mm.
mistake, even if nobody don't know who did it, we all was getting whooped. And it's not like no little pow pow. It's like extension cord, the belt, the lamp, the can, the broom, whatever is in her reach. We getting beat down with it. So I remember this one time I was about 14 years old, and we were living in these projects, and this little boy, he lied to everybody and told him that we was having sex, and my mama found out. And when I tried to explain to her, like, I didn't do anything with him, instead of her just believing me, she beat me for like 4 days straight.
Wow.
One of the times, I actually couldn't go to school because I had a swollen eyeball and my busted lip, and she was beating me with a crate. I got a little close. She told me to go take a bath, and then I got in the shower, and then she started coming there beating me in the shower, and I was
Oh
just like, oh
no.
God, and I didn't even do anything. And I was trying to explain that to her. She even ended up taking me to the doctor. And the doctor was basically telling her, like, no, she's still a virgin, nothing from the looks of it, nothing has gone in. The Heimlich is still intact. And she didn't even like apologize or anything. She was just like, oh, well, because I know what I was doing when I was your age, you
Right.
know?
And just because you was doing it, don't put that on me. Don't make it seem like I'm
Exactly.
doing it. Right.
Exactly. So how I persevered through that is just learning how to forgive, and knowing and learning that my mom only knew what she knew at the time that she knew it. And the fact
Right.
that we never went to church, so she wasn't, spiritual. She wasn't in line with what God had, in store for her life. And so just knowing that and being able to really forgive her and just move on, because now I have my own kids, and I was actually praying and I was asking God, how could I be a better mother? What can I do to make sure that my kids don't have to suffer through some of the things that I went through as a child? And
Right.
it started with telling me to forgive my mom, and I was like, okay.
Right. And
So when I
sometimes you just be
started,
wondering, like, but why? Why you want
yeah,
me to
I was like,
forgive?
know what she did to me, like.
Right.
But once I did do that process and really forgiving her and understanding that, she did the best that she could, it really opened up doors for our relationship to grow with me and my mom, and also with me and my children. And so, like, with me and I have 3 sons, and they're just so open and just transparent with me. They ask a lot of questions, and I just remember as a child, if I asked too many questions, I would get a whooping, because
Girl.
I felt like I was being too grown. And I
Right.
like, I want my kids to be curious and come to me, instead of being,
Right.
because even though she wouldn't answer the questions, I would just go ask my friends, and
Right.
you don't want your friends teaching your kids.
Absolutely not.
So that's how I just persevered, and then just leaning on God a lot and learning and knowing that I can't raise children on my own. There's no manual, there's no, perfection handbook that I can read, but just
Every
pray
child different too.
God. Yeah. Just praying and asking God to, like, help me maneuver this parenthood type of thing, Lord. Like, what do I do? How do I, really show myself as a worthy mother to my children? And He's just really been doing that in me and my husband's life. So it's been great.
Amen. Amen. Thank you for sharing it. As I always share, love. love conquers a multitude of sin, whether you
Yeah.
hurt somebody or the opposite way around, because we're not perfect either, okay? There has been a situation where we maybe didn't have the best judgment and we maybe hurt somebody on the other end. So when you choose to act in love and just forgive, in spite of whatever the situation is, you will see like the forgiveness not even for that person, it's really for
Yeah.
yourself, so you can heal and so you can move forward and be at your wholeness as you should. So I really appreciate that story, and hopefully that'll help others out here heal and get through their things, because you got to learn how to forgive. Don't think about the other person when you're thinking about forgiveness. Think about how it's going to set you free, and you don't have to continue to harvest those ill feelings or having that grudge that's going to hinder you from getting to your next level. So thank you so much. So that's all the questions I have for now, okay? But we will be going over to Clubhouse, you all, so you all can join us in 5 minutes at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for us a little Q&A, okay? We want to keep it down to about a good 30 minutes, because I know my sister has been here. I appreciate her for her time, and we want to, respect her time. So if you all would like to come over there, ask some questions, we are there, and my sister got some answers for you, okay? So thank you again. Let the people know how they can support, and where they can follow you.
Yes. So you guys can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. All social media platforms is Latrell Pace. Latrell Pace. You just put it in, and I'm actually the only Latrell Pace. If you
That part.
right,
Ooh.
I was like, okay.
Now ain't that bomb? That's bomb to be the only, because you know how I don't even look. I don't even like to tell everybody. If you know my government name, you just know it. But my name is so dang common that I have to really look for people before they try to look for me. Because if they attempt to look for me, it's gonna be about a billion of them come up. I
Yeah.
promise you, a billion. Okay. So yeah, look, my mama don't know, but I'm thinking about really legally changing my name. So this is something in the working. I'm so serious. I would keep the first name, but I'm gonna make it the middle name. I ain't gonna completely remove it, but I'm changing my name. I am. So
Yeah.
I heard it here first, all right? So thank you so much, my sister. Looking forward. And now 3 minutes on Clubhouse. Y'all download Clubhouse, come to the audio room, loyalty and friends, and you're not gonna listen. You will be blessed. Okay, just come join us. But thank you again, sister, and can't wait till your book come out.
Yes. Okay.
Period.
See you in 3 minutes.
All right, 3 minutes. Bye, y'all.